Know why you're doing something and be able to explain it. Words to live by. In the tactical space, we see a lot of goofy stuff. And on YouTube, you see even more goofy stuff. As a YouTuber, I'm going to break down some of the things that I think are just kind of silly stuff, internet stuff that we really don't need to be implementing real world. Let's get into it. For this first one, there are many military organizations, law enforcement that would practice a shoulder switch. I'm right-handed. I got the stock in my right shoulder, and then I'm gonna switch, idea being switching to my left hand to be able to get a better angle. So I switch over here, grab fire controls, and then as I angle around, I'm now left-handed, exposing less of my body. This is one of my big complaints about CQB in general and what's been practiced over time, is that we prioritize less of a signature, which is good. It is a core principle for CQB, but I prioritize personally a good shooting platform, the ability to be offensive and return fire if necessary. And so for me, switching to my left hand, unless I'm practicing it just as much as my right hand, I'm gonna be sacrificing quite a bit of performance switching over to my left shoulder, grabbing fire controls, just to be able to, potentially throw rounds that direction. But because I'm significantly less proficient shooting left-handed than I am right-handed, I am sacrificing quite a bit of offensive capability, quite a bit of performance. Instead of just maybe hitting this angle more aggressively, exposing myself ever so slightly more to be able to clear this space. This is gonna be something that you're gonna decide whether or not this is a useful tactic to you. For me, silly stuff you see on the internet, I think it is a bad practice. Tom Brady doesn't throw left-handed in the Super Bowl. This is our Super Bowl when we're clearing a building and we're potentially getting into a gunfight. So I'm right-handed, I'm gonna be shooting right-handed. Doesn't mean you don't practice left-handed, right? There is a time and place. You get injured, potentially the angle requires you to shoot left-handed. For instance, when we're working vehicle work and we're shooting underneath the car, a lot of times we need to switch shoulders because of the height of our bore. I'm gonna be hitting that car. That is a consideration. There is a time and place for it. But if we're just simply clearing the building, like traditionally, I'm not gonna shoulder switch unless the environment and the situation requires me to. Another point to shoulder switching that we need to consider is this is time that we are switching that stock in our shoulder, meaning we're not capable of shooting. Just like when we break the rifle down, talking about this in our CQB no-nos, our non-negotiable video, this is time that we're switching, where that could be an element where we get surprised by somebody in that moment. So I go to switch, I switch over. That is time that I'm getting off fire controls off my rifle. And of course that happens all the time in CQB. We're working doors, we're grabbing for tools. I'm not disputing that, but again, I wanna be stock in my shoulder, ready to go, and not sacrificing that performance. I'll give up a little bit more of my signature if it means that I'm gonna be shooting at a super high level. Another issue we see on the internet is elbows flared, right? This is not gonna be conducive to performance shooting if my elbows are flared out. This is gonna be dependent on the individual. Some of you bigger guys with, big long arms, it might be something that it feels more comfortable. If you can verify it on the range, then by all means. Some of the issues we're gonna have in a CQB environment is gonna be potentially giving our position away. The ability to control the rifle is gonna be much easier if I point my elbows at like a 45-degree angle, or even not quite straight up and down, but at an angle to where it's about 45 degrees. This for me is performance shooting right here. When I go out on the range and I wanna dial in, shoot a bill drill from 20 yards and really shoot predictively, this is where I see performance really shining through. When I have good fundamentals, the stock fully encompassed in my shoulder, elbows down, not out. But when we get into the shoot house or we get into an environment where we're doing CQB, we're doing SWAT hands and we're doing this motion, and it's just not going to help us control the rifle. The other issue is going to be obviously giving our position away. So as I round a corner, regardless of what technique you use, dynamic, deliberate, whatever it is, I'm not gonna get into specifics on that, but I'm giving away my positioning. Like my arm shouldn't really go past my holster. This is all one thing that I'm giving away when I enter the room. So if I come around and I go real slow here, I don't want to have this elbow flared and then enter the room. That's time that I'm giving up. That's giving away my position. But if I have good fundamentals, regardless of how I'm holding the rifle, I'm in that shooting platform ready to go as I come through, and I have good shooting fundamentals that I can implement in a CQB environment. Another goofy thing that we see on the internet and is commonly practiced is we have one high, one low when we're taking the room. So somebody kneels down and then another operator comes over the top and is presumably staying over top of the person that is kneeling down. A couple issues I have personally with it, and there could be situations where this would make sense, but we have a mobility issue. They're kneeling down. We also have, if we're doing this correctly, an individual over the top with a rifle pushing into them so that if they were to stand up, they're not going to run into the muzzle of my gun and we potentially have friendly fire situation. I think CQB, you should be mobile. You should have the ability to retreat, run in, whatever the situation dictates. But we have an issue, again, kneeling down to get two guns in the fight versus simply body blocking each other or just getting online. We tend to overcomplicate this issue for whatever reason, and this becomes, in my opinion, a big safety issue. We see plenty of friendly fire situations where somebody runs out in front of somebody, engaging, they try to retreat, try to get out of there, and then we have, an individual shooting from the back of the bus hitting a partner. If Jake kneels down and he's pointing into the room, and we're doing it, like I said, standing over top of him here, but Jake needs to retreat, I'm bumping him, I'm in his way, he's wanting to get the heck out of this room because gunfire is going on. We got to have a solution for that. So if Jake is, instead of kneeling down, he's standing up looking into the room, again, giving him some form of mobility in case he needs to retreat, I simply can step around, body block him, and we can be online together, get two guns in the fight. The other option would be Jake points the gun in the room, and I just simply get online. He could bump over to the other side, and I fill the space, or Jake goes from that side, and if I'm a partner in the back, I can simply get online and we can get on that door frame together. And this is just a much simpler solution as opposed to somebody kneeling down and standing up. The exception would be stairways to where we can look down in a basement. I'll kneel down so that I can get more of that space and I can see more. Or if I'm looking up top, I can get a little bit lower to get a little bit more of a vantage on that area. But for just dealing with a doorway or a hallway, whatever it is, stay standing. We want to be mobile. There are exceptions, of course. We run into crazy rooms, houses are, designed in a weird way. But ideally, we're standing, gives us mobility to move forward or retreat, and it just doesn't overcomplicate it to where Jake's kneeling, I'm over top of him, and I'm in his way when he's trying to get out of there, not get hit by gunfire, or I'm shooting from the back of the bus, and now we have a friendly fire issue. Going back to the beginning of the video, know why you're doing something and be able to explain it. Some of these things I don't necessarily align with, and I'm just kind of giving you guys my opinion on how we could resolve some of these issues, whether it's shoulder switching, just simply stepping out, using that performance to our advantage, or we're working in teams and we need to be incredibly safe with our partner, not muzzle them. There's some easier ways that we can solve some of these problems, but this is just my opinion, and I am some guy on YouTube. So if you guys have suggestions, you guys have recommendations, comments down below, whatever it is, leave them down there. If you saw value in today's video, make sure you give us a like. And if you thought Jake did an incredible job, 2 thumbs up. Thanks, guys. With all that, we'll see you on the next video. Jake did incredible.
I would like to say something though. I do not know what I'm doing in this scenario. He's the one that's telling me everything that I need to do. Yeah. I am not a firearms guy per se at all. I prefer cars over firearms.
Go easy on him, guys.
Please go easy on me. I do know how to hold a firearm.
I like it.